Hey guys, good morning. I'm here with Amanda Tinnen, and we're here to talk about parent coaching. We just had a workshop about calm, collected, and confident parenting. So, first of all, can you talk about what is self-reg approach?
Maganda umaga.
Yeah,
Good morning.
by the way, she can speak Tagalog a bit. She can understand a bit. So,
Babae
it's a
o
plus
lalaki?
plus. That's a plus plus, guys.
Not much, but I'll try. My mother-in-law is from the Philippines. Yeah, but she lived in Canada. Is more Canadian than I'll ever be because I'm from the U.S.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to help people understand that self-reg is about the management of energy, tension, and stress. And we use a tool called the Thayer Matrix to help people understand. But basically, when we're in a positive space, everything feels more positive, and we have energy, and we can focus, and we can be happy. But when we're in a depleted state, like running on empty, the low tank, we always use this with parents, right? You need to fill your cup. Well, you're definitely going to be thinking of the negative and seeing only the negative. And so how do we help ourselves go in and out of these states? We have to go in and out. If we stay in one, we have a disorder. We have mania if we stay in the red state too long, for example. But how do we help ourselves understand and get in touch with what's going on so that we can better help our children to find calm? And as we talked about, the age that children can start to self-regulate or help themselves calm down is around 3, but it extends, all the way through adolescence. And even as an adult, can you always find calm by yourself?
No, not at all.
Sometimes you need people around you. That's what's great about having a supportive parenting partner, a husband, or even a nanny, someone who gets it and knows what's happening. Yeah.
That's really good because being a first-time mom, and our son is currently 10 months old, and we are just searching, and it's not a very good pattern or behavior because we're searching from the internet. And internet is is
A lot of things.
yeah, a lot of things, and basically, okay, we're researching, and then this article says differently from the second article, and we just want to be guided, the right kind of guidance, basically. That's why I tried to reach out with Amanda and Nurture Me Global, and I was very impressed, by the way, because the first time that I sent a message via Facebook, she immediately answered. It was her. I was like starstruck, even though I didn't know her yet. It was around 10 o'clock in the evening, and on that day, something happened also between me and my son, and I was so stressed about it. I didn't know how to cope up with what was happening, within him, and I was just so happy seeing that now we have this kind of workshops here in Doha.
Yes.
And I do believe that a lot of parents should be attending this kind of seminars so that we would be we would know what to do, and it's not just us exploding our emotions, and it's we should also filter how we should nurture our kids, our toddlers, our babies, because I was also surprised to know that during the workshop she mentioned that the kid, when he or she reaches 3 years old, 80% of their brains are already developed. And I was like, okay, I already had 10 months, and what was I giving him? What messages was he receiving from me? And like 2 weeks before the workshop, even last night, I was just talking to my kid, and I was telling, he was already sleeping, by the way, but I was apologizing to him. It's like, I'm really sorry, I exploded again, yesterday, and it shouldn't have happened, and I really need I need this guidance. So that's why I'm here with with Amanda.
Well, I love that you're talking to your 10-month-old because that's really part of.
Even though he's sleeping.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they probably feel it, right? They probably feel it, and apologizing and making reparations. That's really a huge thing that we're kind of given messages that emotions are bad throughout our lives. You know, don't cry, don't have feelings, and then we're supposed to raise children, but we know those messages, they're disconnected with what we know about parenting. Parenting is based on having these, to me, respectful relationships, not only with the baby, but with your partner and your community, your teachers. I talked a lot about teachers in this workshop because I knew I was going to have a lot, and it was mostly teachers and counselors. I was really happy about that. But you know, we all need to work together, and what I really wanted to address was we need to stop lying to each other, but especially to the teachers. So for example, if you have an aggressive behavior or anxious behavior that is coming up in class and you've seen it at home, I know the tendency is to hide because you don't want to look like you're a bad parent. But the thing is, we have to unlearn this idea that our children's behavior is attached to us and our parenting. There's so many other things in their environment that could be affecting it. True, you could be part of it. Absolutely, you are part of it. Your energy, tension, and stress management, your recovery, your resting, your ability to get sleep, all of these things matter, but it's just, there's so many factors going into it. So that's why we should have these really respectful relationships with everyone in the community, and that's how we model for our kids how to be respectful.
You know, it's so ironic. I would like to share with you, in our community, before I was leading a group of single women, you know, like counseling them. And
my mom's a single mom
oh,
for a long time, 9 years of my life, 10 years of my life. Yeah.
So basically what we're doing is, you know, when you counsel, you just listen, and then of course you reframe as well, and you guide them so that they can label what they're feeling at the moment, and then they can pinpoint what's actually going through, you know, inside of them. And the thing is, even though I have counseled, you know, quite a number of single women, but you know, having my own kid, it's like it's so different for me to do that. Yeah. So
counseling yourself
or counseling myself, even it's like the hardest.
It's a totally different ballgame, isn't it? Helping a child and knowing what the child needs, understanding the brain. There's no manual on your particular child. Number one, I do think by and large the one thing that we all can agree on is respect.
Right.
Respectful relationships beget respectful relationships. The more I can model what I want to see, the more I receive that. If I hit my kid, he's gonna hit me. He might hit others. But really all I'm doing is extinguishing the behavior in the short term. And not only that, we know from brain research we're causing a lot of problems. The development of the brain is less with children that are hit. This is something that we need to know. So, and I know this community wants brain development and academic potentials, and also social engagement and all those things. And if you want that, you have to say, what kind of environment am I creating for success for you, child? You particular child, who has all the needs and all the fears and all the things that you have, and to help you push through those so you feel safe enough that you can be resilient, that you can fail and pick yourself up again. And these are things we were never coached about, we were never taught about.
That's true, basically. And you know, one of the reasons, because of these things, that there's some outside stressors, or we're already thinking of, you know, how can we raise a kid, you know, him being independent, quote unquote, and being street smarts when, you know, he's not with us. So, have you tried homeschooling your kids? I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
So I was very lucky in Abu Dhabi to have an amazing homeschool run by someone else in Reggio Emilia, and it absolutely opened up my world because I'm Montessori trained. I'm a Montessori kid. I came at Montessori thinking this is the best. And then I realized the heart of Montessori is the way we treat the child. The heart of Montessori is knowing that the child's play is their work and honoring their work and not interrupting them. And in Reggio, it's a lot about the 100 language, the expression of the child, their interests are so different, and helping create that, curriculum. It's a little less structured seeming than Montessori, and in so many ways I saw how that opened up more possibilities. I say both are great, but for him in particular, like all the science and things he was able to do, because we knew he was interested in the color orange, and he would do volcanoes, so they were orange, just how thoughtful the teacher was in preparing that environment, and just being respectful, never punishing. I knew that my kid was in a safe place. And I think a lot of us suffer who are respectful parents here in Doha or in Abu Dhabi because we know it's not quite like that. A lot of the British systems still have timeouts, and they're isolating children for their emotions, and they're extinguishing behaviors above looking at why the behavior is happening. And once you start getting awakened to the fact that that doesn't really work, because long term we have to deal with the repercussions of bottling of feelings, or things like that, or complying, looking different from wanting to do something and having a motivation to actually be at school, for example, not just because my parents are telling me to or because I'm supposed to, but where's the passion in that? And so a lot of things have gotten lost, I think, in the education system. And when you're a respectful parent, you will come up a lot of challenges with teachers who have different philosophies. And what today I wanted to do is really say how we can have these conversations that open up these perspectives for others and really be respectful to each other, even if they don't agree with you. Open up that respectful channel, and amazing things can happen from that.
Until now, are they still homeschooled here? Or?
So no, when we moved to Doha, we found an incredible nursery. I like TLC a lot. That has, Becky Bailey Conscious Discipline. It's a very good place. And International School of London, Qatar, we're so happy with. It's a place that's not for everyone because it is a very noisy environment. You have to see, but they trust the teachers, they hire so well, and we've been so happy. But the thing is, wherever you are, whether they have timeouts or don't have timeouts, at the core of it, is your home safe? Does the child feel safe to say, hey, there's timeouts at this school and I don't really like it, but we can't change things. Maybe we can try, we can bring all the information about it. But that I know, by and large, this is my space, this is what I can do, this is what I can focus on. And even though I'd love to change the world, believe me, Nurture Me would love to change minds and shift these perspectives and introduce these new things like self-reg, which is relatively new, 3 years, maybe 4 years old, and Dr. Ross Green's work in collaborative problem solving or proactive solutions, which is decades of research behind it on why we need to stop punishing, restraining, secluding, and isolating children.
So does that mean you don't believe in punishing kids?
I do not believe in punishing kids. Have I ever accidentally done it or slipped or said something? Yeah, and I apologize for it because that's not how our value system works in our family. And it's hard because you have to think about how you were raised when you're parenting, and sometimes it'll just come out. Even when you're trying to be respectful, things will just come out. But just giving yourself grace and saying, oh, well, I made a mistake there. But it doesn't mean they don't have structure. It doesn't mean they don't have boundaries. When they're safe in their relationship with you, and they can say anything to you, and maybe even do anything to you sometimes, but you set up that, I don't want you to hit me, and it's not, you can say whatever you want, but I don't want you to shove me, or something like that. It's not going to be a lesson they learn overnight. But when they do internalize why, and they see the values at work, it's much more powerful than me just making the behavior stop, because their desire is still there to do it. They're still lack impulse control, and there may be some underlying problem. So I don't want to cover up the behavior. I want to say, okay, what's going on?